Hello and welcome to DBK Consults. Today we'll be looking at how you can partition or panel your slabs while you are about to carry out a structural design. And just to introduce our concept here, we always pick out any piece of architectural drawing and together we can walk through the processes involved in how you can transform this architectural drawing into a finished structural drawing, which entails we always go through the different processes from the general arrangement to the modeling phase to the pre-analysis, analysis, design, and also to the detailing phase. And this is the architectural piece we intend to choose the appropriate slab partitions or slab panels, and we'll be designing this structure with a flat slab, and also this will be sitting on a matte raft foundation. If you find this video helpful at any point, do not forget to like it, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so anytime we post videos on these various stages of design, you can get notified instantly. Hello and welcome once again. So today we'll be looking at how you can pick your slab panels when you want to carry out your structural design. So this is the current file we'll be working with today, and I would just like to make a little 1 minute recap on how we were able to get to this very position. So we were provided with some architectural drawings from the ground floor up to the sixth floor, okay? And we took a study of this architectural drawing and we observed that we have the ground floor area as a car park, and we have the first to the sixth floor as having similar architectural arrangements. But the only difference was when we get to the sixth floor, this part here, which is similar to this part, will be roofed. Okay, so this means this is similar for this part and this other part from the first floor up to the sixth floor. So this gets to ground floor plus six suspended floor, while this other part is a ground floor, which is this part here, and it gets to the fifth suspended floor. On getting to the sixth suspended floor, we have what, a roof at this very point, while the roof comes at the top of this other part. Okay, so that was the first study we made. And the second thing is we were provided with some architectural columns. Okay, we are provided with some architectural columns on the ground floor, which is the car park area. So we rotated this, and we also observed that this is a mirror drawing. Okay, so in essence, what we do on this left hand side, we can also do the same thing on this right hand side. So we rotated this drawing and we tried to superimpose the architectural columns that were provided to see if we can implement this, or we can take this from being architectural columns onto being our structural columns. Okay, so we superimpose these columns on this two floor layout, and we observe some interactions between these columns and our floor plans, just like what we have over here. When we move these architectural columns to the floor plans, we observe that some were interfering with our window positions, some were interfering with doors, some were interfering with both doors and windows, some were even interfering with walkways. Okay, so we could not accept this as structural engineers because we had to work with some general columns guideline. So what we did is, let me divide the screen, put this here and put this here. Okay, so what we did is, firstly we reduce our column size from 900 millimeter by 225 millimeter to a 600 by 225 millimeter. So that was the first change we made, also considering the numbers of stories we are designing for. So we made that first change. And secondly, we changed some orientations of the earlier provided columns. Just like this case, it was provided in this direction, but due to the fact that we are trying to keep our columns between walls and also has to stay away from this architectural element, we had to rotate this to 90 degrees. So we made a lot of changes on all these columns that we are marked red, that we are in red circles, meaning they were having interaction with different architectural elements. So we successfully made these changes, yeah, not just to make the changes by ourselves as the structural engineers, but we also documented all the changes we made on our architectural file, because as structural engineers we can't just take all these decisions. We also have to interact with the architectural team and the client for them to understand the structural modifications we are making to the architectural piece, because the architectural piece must have gone through various levels of approval before it got to you as the structural engineers, and you also have to always relate with them. So this is the note we made for our architects, and we'll taking this point for discussions with them. So to see how we're able to do all of this, I will advise you go to our previous videos, because today we'll be looking at how we can, let's take this to a single screen, because today we'll be looking at how we can position our slabs on this proposed column structural layout. So now we can have what our full general arrangement or our full proposed structural layout. So we'll be picking our slab positions, and do not forget that we are designing this with a flat slab. And when you are designing with a flat slab, it is always advantageous to have what your columns somewhere, or to have slabs surrounding your columns, because of the moment transfer principles. Okay, remember that designing with your flat slab, you do not have need for beams. There are no beams holding your slabs. Okay, because in the conventional way, if you are designing with a solid slab, you will have your slab load being transferred from the slab onto the beams. Then the beams will have to transfer to the columns, while the columns will find its way down to the foundation. But in this case, it is coming from the slab directly to these columns. So what we'll be doing in these very cases is picking out these slab panels, and due to the moment transfer principles of our flat slab, it is very advantageous to have slabs surrounding what our columns. Okay, it is better to have slabs surrounding our columns, just like we have here. We have a curve over here surrounding this edge of this column, than to have what our columns at the at the edge of what our structure. It doesn't really mean that it will fail when we are designing, but it is just advantageous. So any opportunities we choose, so any opportunity we see when we are picking this slab layout, in order to put our columns somewhere at the center of our slab, we will definitely take up that opportunity. So we'll start by making this drawing a little bit clearer, and we'll begin with taking out these dimensions. Okay, so I will select this drawing, then I will right click, or firstly I will select one of these dimensions, come to the home tab, and this is under annotation text pen number 141. All right, so I will come back and select everything here, then use the quick select tool, come to layer, come to this part, then look for annotation text pen 141. Okay, then I will ensure I've selected rotated dimensions, and I will click OK. So our dimensions has been highlighted. Then we can go ahead and erase this. All right, and I will take out all these sofas. Okay, let me take out all these sofas. If I select these and come to home, this is under interior furniture pen 4. So I will select all of this, come to quick select, come to layer, and let's look for interior furniture pen 4. Okay, now we can erase this. The next is we can erase all of this interior furniture pen 2. Okay, so now we have what, we have a clear drawing indicating what our column positions and just our block walls. Okay, so the next thing is, since we are sure that this does not interfere with windows, they do not interfere with doors, they do not interfere with entrances, we can as well go ahead to erase our windows, then we'll erase our doors as well. Okay, because this plan can go all the way from what, the these columns can go all the way from the ground floor up to the 6th floor, with exceptions of this other parking lots area 3, that there is a roof at the sixth floor. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll come back here and let's look for, this is under layer 0. Okay, our windows are under layer 0, our doors are under layer 0 as well, but they are all blocks, they are all blocked. Okay, so I'll select this and I'll come to quick select, I'll come to layer, and I'll come to layer 0, and okay, then under layer 0 I will come here to look for block reference. So I'll select this, and as you can see, all our walls and windows has been highlighted, and I can erase all of this. Okay, so I can erase all of this. Then the next thing is I will remove all this hatch. This hatch is under structural bearing pen number 107. Okay, so this plan, what we are trying to modify now is, since we are done with the column positions, we can now start with our slabs, our slab partitioning, and move on to the general arrangement that we'll use for our flat slab design. Okay, so we'll select this. Was I said this was under structural bearing pen 107. So we'll come to here, we'll come to quick select, we'll come to layer, structural bearing pen number 107. We'll come to the type and we'll look for hatch. Okay, so we'll select and we can take out all this hatch. All right, so as you can see, our drawings becomes neater. So let's start working on our slab areas. Okay, so as usual, we'll start from this part, then we'll move to this part, and also we'll move to this other part. Okay, so this, we can extend this to, or we can join this to this end. Firstly, let's explode all of these walls so we can have single lines. So this is still structural bearing pen number 146. We'll come to quick select. I will come to structural bearing pen number 146. Then we'll explode just once using our X. Okay, so it will just, any lines that we are joined together, we can separate them. Okay, so we'll extend this line straight down to this part. Okay, and we can also extend to this column. Okay, so this can extend up to this part. Okay, so this can extend up to this part, and this can also extend to here, and this can extend to here. Okay, so this can extend here, and this can extend here. Okay, so this can be our slab area, that's from this curve up to this point. Okay, so this can be one of our flat slab area, from this midpoint up to all these parts. Okay, this can be one of the flat slab area that will be carried by this column, this and this other area. Okay, and like I said earlier, when you are designing a flat slab, moment transfer is easier. It is more easier for moment transfer when you have columns at somewhere at the center of your slab. So, or let's rephrase and say, moment transfer are easier when columns are at centers of your slab against the ones that are at the edges, like this other one. So any opportunity we see to have columns at the center of our slab, it will be even more appreciated. In other cases of design, we are always trying to avoid cantilevers or extras coming out of our slabs, coming out of our column areas rather. But in the case of flat slab design, this is actually advantageous. Okay, and like I said, this is more reason why when you see a lot of flat slab being constructed, there is always an extra areas from the column points. Okay, so we'll match this with this. Okay, and let's extend this to, this point. Okay, and we can trim out this area. Okay, this is our sweet curve. We'll match this with this. So our slabbed areas, we can match with this. All right, and this is our slab area. So this will help us when we get to the design software, when we get to prototype structure, so we can easily trace these lines for the positions of our slabs. Okay, so this line is going out of this point, and this can be another slab partition. We can have from here to this part as another slab partition. Okay, so we'll join this to this point. Let's extend to this part and this part. Okay, this is one slab area. We can also make this point another slab area. Okay, can also make here another slab area, just to keep this in between this, and this is a flat slab, so you do not really have to worry, because since it's a flat slab and we are not using a beam for these partitions, so while they are actually sitting here, let's come down to that part here. So due to the fact that we are designing with a flat slab, okay, so this is advantageous. If we are using a beam for this point and we are sitting and they get to sit at this living room area, okay, there will be a drop. There will be a drop part of the beam. If we are using a 450 beam and we are using a 150 slab, there will be a 300 millimeter drop beam, and this will actually deface this living area. Okay, so we would have tried our possible best to avoid this drop beam at this living room area, but for the fact that this is a flat slab, for this is a flat slab, we do not have to worry. What we can do is can put a line here up to this point, or we can offset 112.5 just to have same arrangements. Let's offset this to have a 225, and we'll match these two. Sorry, we'll match this with this at this. So we can now trim this to this point, and now trim this to this point. Okay, so this will be another flat slab area, and this can be what, another flat slab area. Okay, so we'll take out this other parts, is not needed, and we can extend this to here, and also extend this to this part. Okay, so the next is we extend this to this point, and this becomes what, another flat slab area. Okay, so let's move on. Please do not forget to like this video if you find this helpful at any point. Do not also forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification bell, as we'll have more interesting lectures coming ahead. Okay, so this is a straight line from here to here, so let's just extend using here as our boundary of extension. We'll extend from here up to this part. Okay, so this can be our slab area. It can be a one way, it can be designed as what, a one-way slab. Okay, so this is okay. We can extend this to here, and the next is we have something. Let's see what this is speaking about. If we minimize this and come to our elevations, let's see. Okay, so this is actually a little extension of slab outside this place for our green areas, for our vegetations. Okay, so we'll also exploit this option. Let's exploit this option. Okay, this is the little extended part, so we exploit this option. So this will also help us to have what, it will also help us to have our columns not at the edge of the structure anymore. Okay, it will actually now be at somewhere going to the mid of a slab, which is always advantageous to us during the design of what, flat slab. So we'll match this with this. Sorry, I think I have to explode this first, so let me explode, and we'll match this to this up to this point. We can take this out, and we can match this up to this point. Okay, so this becomes our slabbed area, and let's take out these lines. let's take out these lines. Okay, so we do not need this. We can need this. Can also extend here to here. Okay, and this is required. This is also required. Okay, so this is one. From here to this part will be one slab partition. Okay, from here to this curve up to this part will also be what, another slab what, partition. While from here, this part to this part will be another slab partition, and from here up to this part will be what, another slab partition. All right, so we'll match these properties from here up to this point, and we can erase this. Let's erase this as well. Let's erase this, and we can select this and extend this to this point. Okay, so here we go. We extend this to this point. We can take out this part if we wish to, but we already know that this will be what, our slab will come this way. Okay, so we can choose to take out this point or not, and we'll take this out. This will be what, another flat slab area up to this extension, and this is what of an advantage to us. Okay, so this will be another slab area. I don't necessarily need to draw a line anymore, so long as we understand what we intend to achieve. This is what, another slab area. Okay, so this is it. The next is this part over here. We'll take this to match with this and this as well, and let's take out all of this, and we can match this, and we can match this with this point, this this one, and what, this other part. Okay, so this part up to this part will be a flat slab area. This part up until this part will be what, another flat slab area. Okay, so here we go. We'll take this out. This serves as another flat slab area. This will be another flat slab area here and here, as well as this part, and as well as what, this part. Okay, so I think we've done justice. I think we've done justice to this. We've done justice to these modifications, and we can stick with what, this column arrangement and this slab panel arrangement. So the next thing we'll do is to mirror our columns from here up to this point, and we'll come to quick select. We'll select this and come to quick select. I will come to layer. We'll come here to column. Okay, and our columns has been highlighted. Then we can mirror from these two midpoints between here and here, and we can have what, this same column at these edges and at the same positions what, as this. Okay, so this now becomes what, our proposed column and slab structural arrangement. So this now becomes our proposed general arrangement for the design of these what, flat slabs. So let's take these columns to the ground floor and let's see what happens if it interferes with any other thing, as we earlier said. So we'll come here, we'll come to quick select again, we'll come to layer, we'll select columns, we'll copy from the interaction between this grid line 7 and grid line That should be grid line 7 and grid line M. Okay, so we'll come here, grid line M and 7 on the on this floor. Or let's make a copy before we do that. Let's copy this from here to here, just so we still have our original copy. All right, so we can still come back and we'll rotate this as well. Let's rotate this. Let's rotate this by 90 degrees. We'll come here to quick select and let's go back to our columns. We can now copy here to 7 and M. 7 and M. So we'll look for M and 7 and we can put this here. Okay, so let's see what happens from what the architect has provided earlier. So this is the reorientation, but it does not affect this car. Okay, the driveway between this column, we have a space of 3.4 meters. Okay, and what the average width of a car, okay, if you are driving in, this is more than what the width of a car, I think is about 1.75 or is it 2 meters thereabouts. You can check that out, but this will not affect anything. Okay, and let's check this out as well. If you are driving in through this point, we have about 2.8, so this does not affect anything as well. So the changes we've made so far will not really affect the functionality of this basement floor. It will not affect the functionality of this basement floor. The only thing it will do is probably change from the orientation that the architect has given us earlier. Okay, so this we have the same distance as this, so we don't necessarily need to change this anymore. And since they are driving it through this point, although we can't really tell, but since the car orientation is towards this point, you can see that we've even increased the space between this driving area to about 3.993, while the previous space was about 2.987. So we've actually made changes to this very part, okay, which is beneficial to the drivers. So let's look at this. This orientates perfectly fine. This orientates perfectly fine, and I don't think we'll be having any issues as regards to functionality or what they intend to use the basement floor for, because of our own structural arrangement. Okay, do not forget that we need to make a note to our architect on the last modification we made at this very point over here, that we'll be reorientating about, let's come here to see, we'll be rating 1, 2, and okay, I think there is a, let's erase this and let's erase this. Okay, then we can also erase this. So 3 columns on parking lots, 3 columns on parking lot 3 has to change orientation. Okay, so we'll come back to our notes. 3 parking lot 3. So 3 columns to change what their orientations. Okay, so this is all we have for this very series of lecture. We will be moving over from here to the general arrangement for the flat slab areas by dividing into column strip or middle strip as indicated by our code of practice. And after that, we can export to program. Then we'll start the analysis. We'll start with the modeling of this flat slab. There are different ways, different things we'll get to learn. We'll get to learn how we can mirror our curved slabs and a lot of other things. Okay, so do not forget to like and subscribe. If you found this video helpful at any point, do not forget to share it with your friends, and also turn on the notification bell to get notified for our forthcoming series. Thank you.